Hello, everyone. Here we are for presence, day number 45 of 100 days of joy based spirituality workout. And the last few days we've been talking about ingredients for a magical life. I think I started that like 2 days ago on August 12th. Could be wrong, but I think that's what it was. And I want to just do a quick review of those 4 ingredients and then talk about one of them. A little bit out of order. Ooh. So, ingredient number 1 is have conviction based on core values. We talked about that yesterday. Number 2 is spread your wings. Fly as high as you can, as much as you want. Number 3 is be still. And number 4 is make friends. So the other day at one of our wholehearted networking meetings, we were reviewing the practices. There's 12 practices ebook. We were reviewing practices number 7 through 12, kind of like throwing them on the table like cookies, and you could talk about whichever one you wanted, kind of thing. Well, or a combination of them. Practice number 11 has to do with your tribe. Make friends has to do with your tribe. And as I was reading them aloud, or I was reciting them aloud, practices numbers 7 through 12, and you don't have to have the ebook to be listening to this conversation here, and you don't have to be at Wholehearted Networking. Don't worry about it. I do recommend the book, however, very much. Practice number 11 is about your tribe, and it's about the importance of tribe and honoring and celebrating a tribe. As I recited those out loud, it dawned on me that if I had to choose only one practice, it would be having a healthy tribe around me. Because as social creatures, our relationships shape us. And somebody asked me yesterday at lunch, what do you want from all that's going on with joy-based living? Because we've got this meetup group coming up with self-care art for your heart and soul and all this stuff. I said, what I want most is people around the world who understand the joy-based living trifecta and the 12 practices, who communicate with one another and support one another, and I support them and they support me. And that what I want underneath all of that, what I want, and don't notice that the background of the JBL trifecta is the 12 practices, right? Seriously, if you don't have the ebook, just go to joybasedliving.com, go to the store and get it. What I want more than anything in the world for you and for me, especially during this particular time in history where there's just a lot of confusion, despair in the world right now. It's a lot. Divisiveness. What I want more than anything is for you to be true to your heart and soul, and for you to be validated by other people who affirm your conviction and your valuing what your heart and soul is communicating to you, and then you doing the same for them. So, for example, I'll give you a couple of examples that came up with one of our members. It's so beautiful. She came back home. She has a second home, a vacation home, and 3 times that she's visited recently, there's been a specific, I'm not going to say what it was because I don't want to give her away, but a specific dead animal in the backyard. Small, but each time it's kind of unusual to even see this animal. And each time there it was, and it was dead. And I was like, well, what do you think that means? And so we explored some of the symbolism of that animal. And we were also talking about, having supportive tribe and things like that. And she said, she said, most other people that I would tell this to, that I had this animal in the backyard, they would talk to me about, oh, did you clean it up yet? And she's like, but with you, I can just, oh my gosh, talk about the symbolism. And she appreciated that I really care about what her soul is needing and feeling and wanting, and what she is needing to support her own soul's callings. And what the reason I say, we shape each other in relationships is because if everybody in your world continues to ignore you when you say, here's what I need, and it's soulful, it's not something, I have a cut, I need a band-aid, whatever. It's not something that just about anybody would have agreement on. But when you say, I need this for my soul, if you don't have people around you supporting you, yeah, you can still follow it. You can still do it. And I think that you ought to. I think I support you in doing it. Definitely. But man, is it sweet to have other people rooting for you and going, oh, yeah. And to have those conversations together, and to be able to kind of like, it's being in the kitchen together, it's cooking together, because we're social creatures. And so, on the flip side, we people who have like been healing from trauma, the first thing that you do is you seek validation to have somebody listen to the worst of your experience and say, I hear you, and I am so sorry. I'm so sorry that that happened to you. They listen to your story and they say, I'm sorry that happened to you. And so then you can move on, you can move beyond it. This is validation for the sake of joy, for the sake of a shared expressed experience. Because from that place, then you can have new ideas and new possibilities. I saw this movie a few weeks ago called In the Heights. It was wonderful. And I don't remember the details here, but it was like in the hood. They were playing off that word, that phrase, in the hood, in a dark side of town. But it was like in Washington Heights in New York. And it was a little town in Washington Heights in the middle of New York that it was gentrifying. So new people were coming in, things were starting to get more expensive. The older people who'd been there for generations who were feeling kind of kicked out because they couldn't even afford to live there anymore. And someone kind of got it in them to, we need to stay here and we need to have a good time. And there was so much disbelief about that it took some energy and some momentum to get everybody out of feeling powerless. And somebody started dancing and singing, and it got the community rallied up around that possibility, and everybody was lifted for it. So they started making decisions that would lift them and unite them. I want you to have community around you who supports you being in your heart and following the callings of your soul, because that's where you're going to find fulfillment. And I'm going to close with this one thought. It's actually a little acronym. Y'all know I love acronyms. It's EAT. It's elevate and transform. It's so easy to go, I have a problem, got to fix it. That's so compulsive. Pish posh. No. Elevate and transform. Elevate your consciousness. Elevate your sense of possibility. Elevate your sense of who you are. And then transform. And then say, wonder what I could do from this standpoint, from this vantage point, from this perspective. I wonder what possibilities will be available when I elevate my experience. When I'm going to negotiate with someone for to expand something or to increase something that I know is going to be a stretch for them, whether it's for my behalf or for theirs or for both of us. I like to go out to someplace beautiful, elevate our energy, and eat something wonderful and get out of the day-to-day ordinariness of our lives, which ordinariness can be magical and it can also be a rut. And so when I elevate on purpose and then transform together with somebody else, back to number 4, right? 4 ingredients for a magical life. Number 4 is make friends. Make friends who value joy. Make friends who care about their own heart and soul and care about you listening to your heart and soul. What I've also learned is that if you hang out with people who don't listen to their own heart and soul, they're either going to be abusive or they're going to be abused. So you're going to be listening to stories about harming or being harmed and trying to maybe protect someone who doesn't want to protect themselves. So that's why I like hanging out with people who really are practicing the JBL 12 practices and the trifecta and giving each other reminders and encouragement along the way, because we're all rooting for ourselves and for each other for valuing and standing for joy. Whoa, this was awesome. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your encouragement. I've gotten some really nice messages from some of you, and I appreciate your feedback very much. And more than feedback, just the conversation, you being here. Please keep commenting at Patreon so everyone can see your comments. And so I'll be notified when you comment. And we are a community of incredible, incredible people. Let's keep going. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.